have you join us as we delve into the world of Islamic finance, right? Specifically focusing on IOP's set of advanced fellowship programs and certification exams. What is IOP, right? Or the Accounting and Auditing Organization of Islamic Financial Institutions? Well, it's an international nonprofit organization that was created in 1991 with the primary aim to promote Sharia standards for the Islamic finance industry. Now, its members comprise of a plethora of central banks and regulatory authorities, financial and other respected institutions. Right, it is chaired by Sheikh Mufti Mohamed Taqi Uthmani. Its Sharia board members consist of various renowned scholars from across the world. Together with other experts of their respective fields, they offer these meticulously designed programs to professionals seeking to deepen their expertise in Islamic finance. So whether you're looking to enhance your understanding of Sharia compliance, sharpen your technical skills, or master the practical application of Islamic finance guides and standards, IOFI provides comprehensive learning pathways to equip you for success. Now, today, we are incredibly fortunate to be joined by some very special guests, right? The first of whom is Mr. Farhan Noor, who is the Executive Director for Standards Implementation and Capacity and Standards Implementation and IOFI's Capacity Building Programs. He is also an associate in the editorial board of IOFI's esteemed peer-reviewed journal, JOIFA. Mr. Farhan will be guiding us through the details of the current certification programs and exams, providing insights and answering any questions you might have along the way. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an informative and engaging session as we explore the many opportunities IOFI has to offer to advance your career in Islamic finance. But before we do so, allow me to welcome our another guest, right? Another special guest to offer the opening remarks, right? He is someone who holds a PhD and MSc from INSEF, Malaysia, and serves as an IOFI certified Sharia advisor and auditor, and IOFI master trainer in Malaysia. He is a registered Sharia advisor of the Securities Commission. He is the founder and CEO of Adl Advisory, a Malaysian-based Sharia advisory firm specializing in consultancy and training services. He's also the co-founder and director of IFA Consultancy based in Bangladesh, which is a pioneering institution promoting Islamic finance through training programs, workshops, and consultancy services. He's none other than Dr. Mufti Yousuf Sultan, who I would have the honor and the pleasure to welcome to make the opening remarks. Mufti, Sultan, you are here with us. Okay, it seems Mufti is not over here, in which case I will, I think, proceed directly with our main speaker. Right, okay, so without further ado, allow me to welcome our dear guest, distinguished speaker, Mr. Farhan Noor. You have the floor. Allow me to share my screen, the slides. Okay, wonderful. Yes. Perfect. Okay. This would be it. Seems to be the problem. Ah, there it is. Okay. Apologies, Mr. Farhan. Okay, here we are. Wonderful. All right, I hope the screen is clear for everyone. Right. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, Mr. Farhan, you have the floor. Please, tafadhal. And please guide me through how you want me to move on the slides, inshallah. Whenever you want me to go next, please inform me. I'll click it accordingly for you. Yes?
Okay, so just if you can kindly confirm what you are expecting me to do is to introduce both AOFI and the programs of AOFI, right?
Yes, yeah, yes, inshallah.
This is okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I have slides at my end as well. If you prefer, I can use my slides.
If you have slide, absolutely, please. Let me allow you to share the screen. Brother Fahad, could you please give Mr. Farhan permission to share his screen as well, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So if anybody can please confirm that you can see my slide
Yes,
on my screen.
all clear. Yes, we can see your screen. All clear. Well done.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And a very good morning to all of you as well. I'm not going to take too much time, but I want to keep this informative and engaging as well. I don't want to bore you to death. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to introduce AOFI, which is very important because this is going to be the basis for the discussion to follow. And then I'm going to introduce AOFI programs or professional qualifications. If you are interested in pursuing a career in Islamic finance, then rest assured this webinar is for you because you will get to know all the details of Islamic finance professional qualifications on offer by AOFI, and AOFI being one of the most important institutions in Islamic finance. So let me quickly begin by first introducing AOFI. AOFI was established roughly maybe 30 years ago, 34 years ago. And the purpose of establishing was that at that time, Islamic finance was slowly but gradually beginning to expand, both horizontally and vertically. And the stakeholders of Islamic finance realized that if you have like 5 institutions in a given country, and then 50 institutions in 10 countries, and all of these institutions begin to contradict each other in their operations, in their products, in their fatwas that are being issued by Sharia scholars, in the way accounting is done, in the way auditing is done, in the way even ethics, the code of ethics are being developed, then there will be mass level confusion. Contradiction always leads to confusion and chaos. So the investors and the customers will not be able to know exactly whether a given product or service is actually Sharia compliant or not. So the stakeholders, and the leading stakeholder was Islamic Development Bank, they realized that we need to begin with, standardize accounting practices. So they established Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions so that we can develop the standards or the benchmark, that this is going to be the benchmark against which all institutions should aspire to basically comply with. And then over a period of time, we realized that we need to develop Sharia standards as well, and then governance standards and code of ethics as well. So these are the 5 areas in which AOFI develops standards. And the purpose of the standardization is to ensure that every institution meets at least a minimum level of compliance, that this is the minimum that you must do if you are in Islamic finance. If you don't have this baseline, then you can practically do anything and claim for yourself to be Sharia compliant. So this is the purpose of standards. And these standards are developed by some of the leading minds from the industry, including the founders of Islamic finance itself. Because 30 years back, the founders of Islamic finance, alhamdulillah, were alive, and many are still alive, and they are still part of AOFI. And these were the ones, and some of the leading Sharia scholars, some of the leading minds in accounting, auditing, governance, ethics, regulations, taxations, they all came together to develop these standards. Right now, we have developed roughly, I think, 122 standards in these 5 areas. And these are adopted or adapted or recognized in different forms, shape, size, colors by different regulatory and supervisory authorities, I think in not less than 50 countries. So roughly 70 RSAs or regulatory and supervisory authorities have adopted our standards, including the big market of UAE, Bahrain, obviously, and there are other markets as well. If you are interested in details as to which jurisdiction has adopted or adapted our standard, please refer to our publication called Footprint Report, which is available free of cost on our website as well. Now, obviously, I'm sharing this information with you because there's method to madness. The fact that more and more jurisdictions are adopting AOFI standards means that more and more jurisdictions have high demand for professionals who are proficient in AOFI standards, right? So clearly the demand is linked proportionally with the adoption rate. If the adoption rate is going up, the demand for Islamic finance professionals having AOFI qualifications automatically grow up. And this is what we saw in UAE market in particular, when I think 3-4 years back, when they adopted AOFI Sharia standards wholesale from A to Z. So more and more Islamic financial institutions wanted to hire professionals who were proficient, who were able to implement AOFI Sharia standards. Okay. So these standards are developed by 3 boards: the Sharia Board, Accounting Board, and Governance Board. And obviously, the members of these boards are some of the highly respected Islamic finance professionals, regulators, academicians, researchers, Sharia scholars from different parts of the world, speaking different languages, and even representing different mazahib, the Hanafi school of thought, the Shafi'i school of thought, and so on and so forth. Now, coming to capacity building. Now, capacity building is one of the major departments at AOFI, and its purpose is to develop and offer professional qualifications in very specific, much needed areas, which I'll come to later. But this department has a governance structure in place. Let me go to that slide actually. Yeah. There's a governance structure in place. So on top of it, we have the AOFI Education Board, comprising of 17 members from 11 countries. And these are the members of the AOFI Education Board. The chairman is Professor Dr. Kabir Hassan, and deputy chairman is Mr. Firas Hamdan, who represents Bank du Liban, which is a central bank of Liban. He's also a member of the AOFI Accounting Board. And Dr. Ahmed Al-Asiri is representing SAMA, which is a central bank of Saudi Arabia, and so on and so forth. Now, this education board has, I think, 5 subcommittees as well. Let me just check very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 subcommittees as well. The Executive Committee, the Curriculum Review Committee, Examinations Review Committee, Translations Review Committee, and Takaful Programs Committee. Executive Committee and Takaful Programs Committee, the first and the last columns, these are established this year, in the beginning of this year. And the purpose of these committees, the reason I'm telling you about this is because when we talk about developing curriculum and learning content, I just want to make it clear and establish a very important fact that we have a dedicated committee from different parts of the world, members from different parts of the world who work on the development of these on these programs. And this committee is the one who's periodically updating the programs as well to keep in line with the industry requirements. Then we have the whole examination system, because these programs, we have an online examination system, a portal, and all the examination questions are thoroughly vetted by this examination committee. And then we have the translation, because the translation of the program and translation of the examination is a separate component which is taken care of by this respective committee. Then we have the Takaful Programs Committee. The thing is that Takaful is a very niche area, and the professionals in Takaful are few far in between. So we decided that we should have a separate committee altogether, and this committee will be responsible for developing the program and the examinations and the translations, everything. So moving on. Now, in terms of the qualifications that we are currently offering. These include the SEPA program, Certified Islamic Professional Accountant. It's available in Arabic, English, and Russian languages. We have Certified Sharia Expert, which is currently offered only in Arabic language. And then Certified Sharia Auditor program, currently offered in Arabic language only. And then we have Certified Sharia Advisor and Auditor, which I'm sure you are very well aware of, but important point here is that this has been discontinued. The last exam for CSA was held in December. I must emphasize that this is something that a decision has been made by the board and it will not be revoked. This is a final decision because I understand in the past, I think 2 times when we announced that this is the last time we are going to offer CSA program, but then we had another session of exams. But this time, rest assured that this program will no longer be offered. The exceptions will be there. So you might come across few students still studying for CSAA, specifically from those who are based in Afghanistan because of a very special situation and condition. That's why there's a special exemption for them. But generally, by and large, nobody will be allowed to sit for the exam, come what may. CSA exam was actually broken down in 3 qualifications: the CSE qualification, the CSA qualification, and the CPSS, which is right there in the second table. The CPSS qualification is just 1 module qualification, which includes all the Sharia standards issued till date. And I think there are 59 active standards. The number of standards are, I think, 62, but I'm talking about active standards because some of the standards have been replaced, withdrawn, and so on and so forth. Then we have this proficiency certificate called CPFAS, which includes all the financial accounting standards. So the difference between fellowship and professional certificates is as follows. Fellowship programs, all of them, 1, 2, and 3, with the exception of CSAA, they have 4 modules with 1 year practical experience requirement. So in order for you to become a SEPA fellow, you have to pass 4 modules and fulfill 1 year practical experience requirement. With proficiency certificates, there is no PER requirement, and there is only 1 module, 1 exam. That's it. If you pass this exam, you earn this proficiency certificate. Now, you might feel, 4 exams are tougher compared to 1 exam of a proficiency certificate, but you would be mistaken. Proficiency certificates are advanced level certificates, and the exams are quite difficult. Okay, I think this is also important. Let me spend a couple of minutes just to emphasize on why you should pursue AOIFI qualifications and why you should become an AOIFI fellow or study for the proficiency certificate. And there are 2 main reasons, basically. Number 1 is to do with the content. Okay, if the learning content is not good enough, then you'll not master anything, you'll not learn anything. So what's the point really? This is point number 1. Point number 2 is that if that qualification doesn't help you in your career, in advancement of career, then again, yes, it's very good to have advanced level understanding of how Islamic finance work, but the qualification should also help you move up the ladder. So in both of these situations, we believe that AOIFI qualification is going to significantly help you and support you. In terms of content, now the first point is that the content is entirely based on AOIFI standards, and these standards, like I mentioned already, is developed not by Farhan, but by the founders of Islamic finance, some of the leading minds in Sharia standards, some of the leading regulators, some of the leading practitioners. So you are going to be exposed to some of the best content out there. This is point number 1, which is also recognized by majority of the industry as well. Number 2 is that the fact that the curriculum is multidisciplinary in content. I mean, we are not just focusing only on accounting, but we are supplementing it with Sharia perspective, the documentation perspective, the legal perspective, tax perspective, risk management perspective, obviously auditing, governance, and ethics perspective as well. So you are getting knowledge from different perspectives, which will significantly help you improve your understanding of how to implement AOFI standards in real world situations. This is point number 2. Point number 3 is that we not only focus on theory, but we also focus on the practical aspects of it. Because what's the point of theory if you cannot apply it in real world? And that is why we have this practical experience requirement. You are supposed to get engaged with an Islamic financial institution in your jurisdiction and then work with them on implementing AOFI standards. And then you develop a report, share it with us, and then you get a passing percentage on PER. Obviously, there are certain situations where you're not able to pursue PER in your jurisdiction, and we have alternatives for that as well. And the last point is that, the program is periodically updated. So this is on the content side. On the career opportunity side, like I already mentioned, that there are so many regulators who have adopted AOFI standards, which mean that the market that they are supervising requires more and more Islamic financial professionals who are proficient in AOFI standards. So that is your cue that you should pursue this qualification so that you can climb the ladder. You will have more career opportunities. The second thing is that, there are some jurisdictions, I think 4 or 5 jurisdictions, Bahrain, Afghanistan, Iraq, they have officially recognized AOFI professional qualifications in their fit and proper criteria. And they explicitly say that if you want to be the CFO of an Islamic financial institution, you must have AOFI qualification. So this is another reason why, you can argue that our qualifications will help you improve your opportunities, career opportunities. Okay, this is an interesting slide, and I think this is going to be brand new information for every single person out there who's listening to me right now, because this is an internal document. There are some qualifications mentioned on your screen right now. I hope you can read it, which is not there on our website, which is not there on, has been discussed anywhere till now. This is the first time I'm sharing it with you. We are developing a qualification on pool management for Islamic banks. So deposit management and profit and loss sharing mechanism at Islamic banks is one of the most important topics when we talk about Islamic finance, because this is the heart, the mind, and the soul of Islamic finance. If you don't know profit and loss distribution in Islamic finance, then you really don't know Islamic banking. I'll go that far and say this actually. If you don't know this, you don't know Islamic banking, because whatever we do, at the end of the day, we have to share the profits and distribute losses to the customers, to the investors. If you don't know how that is done, then what do you know really? Just knowing few requirements of Murahaba doesn't make you an Islamic finance professional. It is important, but I think one of the most important things is to really understand what goes on when we talk about deposit pool management. So we are developing a proficiency certificate, one module program on this. Then we are also going to develop a proficiency certificate in Sukuk. So we have qualifications covering Islamic banking sector, which includes part of Takaful and financial markets as well. But this would be a dedicated, specialized, tailor-designed program on financial markets, specifically Sukuk. So if anybody wants to, structure Sukuk, understand it from the regulatory legal perspective, how we do the documentation for it, the taxation issues in it, in accounting for sure, want to understand how accounting for Sukuk is done, and how Sukuks are audited, what governance structure should be in place for Sukuk, everything will be discussed in this program, inshallah. The third program that we are going to develop is the CIRP, which is for the regulators. So regulators, obviously, Islamic finance regulators, they can pursue SIPA and CSA, CSE, all these qualifications. But then there are some aspects which should be seen from their perspective, how to supervise Islamic banks, and other important topics which related specifically to them. For them, we are going to create this comprehensive fellowship program. So it will have, I guess, 4 modules and 1 year practical experience requirement. The fourth qualification that we are going to develop this year is the Takaful Certified Takaful Expert Program, which is again going to be a fellowship program. Because clearly we have a sizable Takaful industry, and we don't have a specialized dedicated program for those professionals. So this program will be developed. And there is 5th qualification, which is not mentioned here, which is CIFA, CIFA, which is financial analysis. So this would be, this qualification, CIFA, which I'm talking about, is going to be the Islamic version of CFA. So if you have heard of CFA, Certified Financial Analyst, so you would know what I'm talking about. You have financial statements and you want to conduct financial analysis on it from the Islamic perspective. So this is going to be either a proficiency certificate or a fellowship program. So these are the 5 qualifications we are going to develop. And in addition to 4 or 5 existing right now, we believe we would cover all aspects of Islamic finance. Irrespective, you're a banker, you're a Takaful expert, Sukuk expert, a regulator, wherever you're coming from, you'll find within our portfolio something that will be catering to your need, inshallah. Okay, so this is a CIPA program. Like I mentioned, there are 4 modules. These are the 4 modules and 1 year practical experience requirement. You have to complete all of this, pass 4 modules, 4 module exams, and the practical experience requirement to become a CIPA fellow. We offer exemptions to all 4 modules. The details are mentioned here. If anybody wants, if he has specific questions related to exemptions, they can always ask me and then I can go through. But this presentation is already going so long, so I'll just move forward. And by the way, I'll share this slide, this document with Adl Advisory, and they will share it with all of you, all the participants. There are exemptions available for practical experience requirement as well. The fees is mentioned, the discounts are also available, especially if you register through Adl Advisory, you will get special rates. This is the examination schedule for CIPA program, which is on our website as well. We usually have 2 examination windows, June and December. Okay, and the questions are basically MCQs. They are standalone MCQs in which you have 1 question with 4 options and you have to choose the correct option. Or you can have vignettes or case studies where you have a case and then you have 3 to 5 questions associated with that case, and then you have to answer each of those MCQs. But all questions are MCQs. There's no essay-based questions and there are no any other type of questions really. Okay, so this is CIPA. CSA, like I mentioned, this is available only in Arabic as of right now. Again, 4 modules, 1 practical experience requirement. These are the 4 modules: Sharia standards, Sharia audit, governance and ethics, financial accounting and auditing, and business and regulatory environment. These are the 4 modules of this program. The examination dates are mentioned on our website. Again, we have 2 examination windows, April and September. Same examination style. All our examinations are conducted online. You will be given an access before the final exam so that you can familiarize yourself with the examination system, how to use it and whatnot. And then on the final examination day, you will be given access to the final exam and you will have allocated time and you will answer all questions online. There are no written tests in IOFI. Moving on, this is CSE. Same pattern as CIPA and CSAA, 4 modules, 1 year practical experience requirement. It's available only in Arabic as of right now. We are in process of translating to English, and inshallah it will be available next year. These are the 4 modules of this program: Sharia standards, IFSD, Islamic Financial Structuring and Development, AOFI technical standards, which includes accounting standards, auditing standards, governance standards, and then business and regulatory requirement. 2 examination windows, April and September, same as CSA. That's it. Proficiency certificates, like I mentioned, this is SEPA FAS. So there are 28 FAS which are included in 2025 curriculum as of right now, this year. There are some standards which have been issued, but since those standards are not effective as of right now, because when the standards are issued, they have an effective date when these standards will be applicable or effective. So some of the standards are 6 months down the road, some are 1 year down the road. So those standards which are not yet effective have not been included in this program. So there are currently 28 FAS which will be covered. 1 module examination, we believe you should spend at least 250 hours to study for this program. And this is the curriculum. We have divided it into multiple parts. Part A is the conceptual framework. These are the core standards, and each standards have been assigned a weightage so that 3% of the question will be from Muzaraba financing, for example, out of the total. And there are supplementary standards. The difference between the two is that in core standards, the basis of the conclusion which is mentioned in the standard will also be tested. Okay, so you have to read and understand and memorize some of the rulings or requirements or explanations given in basis of conclusion as well. Whereas in supplementary standards, only the standard part is effective, not the basis of conclusion. So this is one of the big differences between the two. And obviously, supplementary standards have very low weightage, all of them below 2%. There are no exemptions available for this program for obvious reason. There is no program equivalent to it that you study for this and get an exemption for this. So, but if you pass SEPA FAS qualification, you will get exemption from FAR module of the SEPA program. Okay. Discounts are available. Again, I would emphasize that you register through Adl Advisory, because if you register with us, you will get higher fees, higher pricing. But if you register through Adl Advisory, because we have an arrangement with them, they will give you special discounts. Okay, CP-FAS, again, the same thing. We have 60 standards and topics. This is an important point. I mentioned that there are 59 active standards. So what is that one additional topic that we have included in CPSS program? And this is basically the fundamentals of Islamic finance. Like, we don't have a dedicated specialized standard on riba. But riba is one of the most important topics when we talk about Islamic finance. So we cannot, test you on Sharia standards without testing your knowledge or understanding of riba. That's why we have a special chapter on riba. Similarly, Islamic law of contracts. We have no standard on Islamic law of contracts. So we had to develop a chapter for it. So this is that additional chapter, 59 plus 1 topic. And again, 1 module examination, we expect you to spend at least 250 hours on this. It's available both in English and Arabic language. Now, the classification of the standards in these respective categories is very interesting and very useful for you, because if you read Sharia standards start with, I think, credit cards, which doesn't really make any sense, because first topic should be about the introduction of Islamic finance or the prohibitions in Islamic finance like riba and gharar. But gharar is like the 31st standard when you read the Sharia standards book. So it doesn't make any sense. We had to make this meaningful and logical ordering of standards and classification of standards. So this is something that we have done. And I must credit Brother Yousuf Sultan, who actually helped us in this categorization. I think this is one of the best categorization of AAOIFI Sharia standards. Anyway, the first part is the Sharia fundamentals. So all the standards related to the fundamentals are included. B is Islamic finance, contracts, and related topics. So trade-related standards all clubbed together in one place. Lease standards, service standards, partnership, options and promises, guarantees, dealing with debts, So all the standards dealing with debts are placed in a single place. Islamic social finance. Then part C is Islamic banking, all standards related to Islamic banking, all standards related to Islamic financial markets, and then takaful. And weightages have been assigned to each of these areas. So you know exactly how much time you should spend on each standard. If the weightage for a given area is like 1%, it means that you cannot expect more than 1 or 2 questions from that topic. So the amount of time, effort, energy that you need to invest in studying for that standard becomes very obvious to you. There are obviously no exemptions available for CPSS program, but if you pass this qualification, then you will automatically have exemption from the SSSG module of CPA program, and you will also get exemption from Sharia standard module of the CSA program. The fees and the discounts are mentioned. We have 2 examination windows, April and September. And that's it. So this, I think, gives you a very good understanding of what AOFI is, what the professional qualifications of AOFI are, what's included in these qualifications, how much each of these qualifications costs, what do you need to do in order to pass these qualifications. And yes, I think I've covered everything. If you want to know anything specific, then obviously I'm here to answer all your questions. That's it from my side. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brother Sanu, if you expect me to continue on any other topic, please let me know.
Jazakallah khair, and thank you very, very much, Brother Farhan, for that very insightful talk. Right, I think it's been made quite clear. You hit all the points. Right, these started off with the basis, as you mentioned, of this whole discussion, right, which is the standing that IOFI has within the Islamic finance industry, right? How the standards are formulated by Sharia, financial, accounting, taxation. All these different experts have come together to come up with this meticulous guide, right, for individuals, whether you're intending to sit for the one of several IOP exams or just to deepen their understanding of Islamic finance. So thank you very much for that. Before we move on to the Q&A session, because I'm sure the participants of the year would have questions for you, right? I just want to give a few shout out, right? A few special mention to our partners, right? Starting off with Tamweel, right, which is a financial consultancy based in India. It facilitates IOP exams. We have Equity Solutions, right? It's an Islamic finance consultancy and training service provider that is based in the Gambia, right? It also facilitates IOP exams. We have Taif Digital Institute, right? Our partner, special partner, right, where we'll be talking about a course that Adl Advisory is providing in collaboration with them. It is also an Islamic finance training service provider. It has won several awards throughout the years for being the best training provider in Islamic finance. Lastly, we have IFA Consultancy, right, which is a partner of ours as well, an Islamic finance consultancy and training service provider based in Bangladesh. It is also an exam center and an exam registration center for the IOP exams, right? With us, we have a special guest, inshallah, before we move on to the Q&A session with Brother Farhan, right? Hopefully he will have time to stick with us, inshallah, to answer some of your questions, right? In the moment, I would like to pass the floor over to Sheikh Abdullah Masoom, who is the founder of IFA Consultancy, to speak on the importance of IOP's fellowship programs and certification exams in the context of Bangladesh, right? Now, he'll also speak on how candidates in Bangladesh may register for one of IOP's fellowship programs and certification exams, right? So, Sheikh Abdullah Masoom, I pass the floor over to you. Is he here? Let's confirm. Abdullah Masoom. I don't think he's here. I don't see his name in the guest list. Okay. Well, he's probably joining soon, inshallah. So in the meantime, I think we'll jump straight to the Q&A session. We don't want to keep Brother Farhan for too long, right? Obviously, he's a very busy man. Okay, so over to you, Brother Farhan, right? So let's begin with the Q&A session. Before that, I think I should mention something very, very important, right? A huge congratulations to all the candidates who recently sat for the IOP exams, right? Past December, right? Some of whom I know personally, right? I'm not going to mention any particular names, right? Congratulations to them. May Allah grant you barakah in this in this new certification, this new qualification that you have received, right? And yes, so that's my message to everyone. Whether you took the exam with Adl Advisory as your exam registration center or your exam center, or you sat with any other institution that is also respected, may Allah bless this certification of yours. And yes, that's my message to you guys, right? For those of you who did not get the exams, better luck next time, right? IOP is a very healthy institution, so it's going to be here hopefully until the end of times, right? And so the exams will be available for you. And I believe Brother Farhan can correct me on this. There is a special discount for candidates who took the exam but didn't pass it the first time. Is that the case? Just to get the confirmation from Ahl al-Dhikr. Brother Farhan?
Check about that.
Okay.
I'll have to check on that.
Okay, okay, inshallah, yes. Right. But as far as I think the existing practice has been that students who took the exam but they didn't pass for the first time, they're granted special discount in sitting for the exam the second time. Okay, all right. So I've just been informed that Mufti Masoom is here. Right, Mufti Masoom, you have the floor, please. Right, as I mentioned, he'll be talking about the importance of IOP's fellowship programs and exam certifications in the context of Bangladesh, and he'll also speak on how candidates in Bangladesh may register for the exams. Mufti, tfaddal. Mufti, are you here with us?
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. تفضل مفتي. I personally cannot hear Mufti.
Would you hear me?
Yes, but your audio is
I want to
breaking up a little bit.
explain.
Yes, okay, we can see you now as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Unfortunately, there's internet connection is like poor. Would you hear me now?
Yes, khair, inshallah. Tfaddal, Mufti, we can hear you. Yes, please. Mufti?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Yes, we can hear you. Please.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah nahmadu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي وعلى آله وصحبه people who interested to improve and glorify their self in Islamic finance, not only for the scholars, I think for all people, from businessmen and job holder who are interested to improve their business and their job with Sharia compliance and Sharia principles. Ayatollah Consultancy, Alhamdulillah, is a authorized exam center of AOFI, is working from 2021 to 2020, Alhamdulillah. And still now, I think Bangladeshi fellowship, Bangladeshi people engage themselves with IFA consultancy in terms of CSA and CIPA exams. In terms of number, it is around 500 plus, alhamdulillah. And IFA consultancy closely working with our AOFI in terms of exam centers and several session conduct and event conduct, alhamdulillah. As the founder director of this consultancy firm, I just want to mention one thing. There is, I had mentioned a lot of numbers of people has been engaged in this exam, especially CSAA exam. But unfortunately, there are many madrasa background students and ulama still now are not involved in this exam, especially CSAA. For the reason of this, I think the price is very high for them. So I request to Brother Farhan and Aufi, if possible, to facilitate madrasa background students and or ulama to engage this exam, to consider and to facilitate a discount. To give special discount for them. It will be very beneficial for them, inshallah. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Jazakallahu khairan, dear Mufti Masoom, for sharing the situation in Bangladesh. Right, Brother Farhan, right, you as requested, a special request from Mufti Abdullah, right, a price discount is a matter that, you know, is to be considered, inshallah. I'll leave the communication between the two of you, inshallah. Okay, so we'll jump, inshallah, to the Q&A session, right, before making a special announcement at the end. There are quite a number of questions over here in the chat box. I will start with the first. So, first question says over here. Well, the first question is regarding the slides, I believe, right? As Brother Farhan mentioned, he will be sending the slides to Adl Advisory, and inshallah, we'll share it accordingly with the registered participants. So if you haven't registered, please register. That way we would know, we'd get your email and send it over to you. Aside from that, the next question says, yes, it says by Tanku Putra, right? The question is, Assalamu alaikum, thank you for the insight. May I know if AAOIFI will provide free workshops in order to fulfill the fellowship CPD 60 hours annually?
Okay, CPD is a continuing professional development policy which was issued, I think, 3-4 years back, and it required every fellow, AOFI fellow, who have passed CIPA qualification, CSA qualification. At that time, CSA and CSE did not exist. They must fulfill 60 CPD hours every year. Now, if you read that policy, it is very flexible and accommodating. So even if you read a book, you can claim CPD hours. If you attend a workshop or a conference even, or better, if you speak at a conference or any other related event, then you can earn CPD hour. So much so that even if you watch YouTube videos on Islamic finance and just let us know that this is the video, this is the duration of the video, and this is what I learned from that video, you will earn CPD hours. So it's very easy to earn CPD hours. It's not that you only have to sit for AOFI workshops. in order to achieve it. This is one thing. Secondly, we have, I think since the last 4 years, have been giving free seats to all AOFI fellows in a list of, I think, 20 plus workshops of covering all topics under the sun, really. And we had very good number of registrations. So this year, inshallah, maybe during Ramadan or after Ramadan, we are going to issue the training calendar. It will not have, I don't think this time we are going to have 20 plus workshops, but we will have workshops and all AOFI fellows will get complimentary seats. So that is always there since last several years.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for the Farhan, for your concise response. The next question over here is by, or the person, there's no particular name, it says user, right? It says, could you provide us with details about the weightage attached to Sharia standards, right? The Sharia standards, governance standards, and the auditing standards. The person mentions that as IOFI has determined the weight, meaning referring to the December exams, he says that it seemed to have not been as it was promoted, right? So the question is, how much weightage is attached to each of the standards, Sharia standards, governance standards, and auditing standards? And yeah, I think that's the question for the previous exams and moving forward.
So again, CSA, like I mentioned, has been discontinued. December exam was the last exam. You will not be able to sit for this exam ever again. So this is discontinued. Now, what happened in December? There were few more people who said that, the weightages were not strictly followed, which is true. But I think this was one time when there were addition of, I think, 5 extra questions. So instead of 100 questions, candidates receive 105 questions. So that is why I think the weightage somehow did not match. Having said that, I want to make this very clear that those who feel that they were disadvantaged in the exam because of this reason, that is not true at all. We take heed of all the feedback that we received. There was some feedback related to translation quality as well, some related to, like this mentioned, not meeting or not fulfilling the weightage requirements. Some were related to the fact that the translation was missing for 2 questions I know of. 2 questions did not have Arabic translation, which clearly disadvantaged Arabic speaking candidates, examinees. So considering all of that, what we did was we excluded 11 questions and added 13 marks to all the candidates who sat for the exam. Now, this we believe we were very flexible and accommodating and lenient with marking because we do not want to disadvantage a single person, even if one person may actually be more than advantaged given the situation. But we do not want to bring disadvantage to anybody. We did this, and after this, if anybody still could not pass the exam, we feel, honestly, with all due respect, is that they were not well versed with the requirements of the Sharia standards. They do not have full grip on the standards, and that's why they could not pass. But having done this, what we did, I believe nobody can now say that because the weightages were not fulfilled, that the translation was not that good, or there was some missing translation and whatnot, we failed. Now, I think what we did, this response is something that nobody can give now, because we have been very generous and lenient. We gave 13 additional marks to everybody. Okay. And that was more than what they deserved, basically. This is the response. This is known by very few people. Again, Adl Advisory is extracting too much information from me in a recorded video. So I don't know, but I'm sharing all this information with you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, brother, for that clarification. All right, 13 additional marks. All right, that's quite generous, right? Okay, so I think I didn't do the person's question justice, right? I believe the person who was asking is from Afghanistan, and he says that you mentioned earlier that there would be special arrangements made for Afghan citizens or people in Afghanistan, right, for special reasons, right? So I think the person was asking with regards to the CISA that is offered under these circumstances, how much weightage would be attached to the Sharia standards and the governance standards for the people
Actually,
in
those who
Afghanistan?
register for this qualification, they are going to get all the study materials, and the
Okay,
weightages will be mentioned in the
they'll be
curriculum.
mentioned. Okay, they'll be mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And another question by the same person is: does IOFI provide any mock exams?
Yes, yes. Once you register, you get study material, mock exams, the weightages, everything you'll get as a package once you register for the program. The details about the curriculum and everything, I think it's there on the website. If it's not, I have it there after this webinar. But I think it's there.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Next question over here is: if there's a provision of it to be acquired. Okay, I don't fully understand the question myself, but I'll read it out to you. Perhaps you would understand it. It's a question by Brother Bailo. He says, regarding the first year experience for the SIPA exam, will IOFI be suggesting the position or the experience that should be acquired? Right. I think you touched up upon this earlier, where you spoke about how I think he's referring to the PER, right? The continuous learning required by CISA candidates or CISA. Hello?
So your voice was breaking. I could not understand, but I can see the question on my screen. It's regarding
Yes.
PER, the practical experience requirement. Actually, we do not have a fixed formula for PER because every institution is different, every jurisdiction is different. So you have to reach out to a local Islamic financial institution and then decide with them what your job description is going to be. Our only focus is that since you are studying for SIPA program, for example, and SIPA is primarily promoting accounting standards and auditing standards, so maximum weightage of your work in that 1 year practical experience requirement should be devoted to activities related to accounting, auditing, governance. Okay, because if you work 1 year in marketing and communications, that is not going to help you with SIPA. So this again is something that is negotiable. You have to discuss it with Islamic Financial Institution, develop a short job description, let us know these are the areas that you're going to work on, these are the products, the accounting entries that you're going to implement in real world scenarios and whatnot. And then we will give you a go ahead to complete this entire process over the year. And then you submit us a final report. So there is no position or experience as such required. You do not necessarily have to be in a certain position to fulfill PER. I hope this addresses the question. I don't exactly understand the question myself.
Okay. Right. And I think, from my humble understanding of it, I think the brother was referring to the PER, right? But I think you touched up upon it earlier. You said that, something as simple as watching a video on Islamic finance from YouTube or any other platform could count as part of the 60 hours CPD required, inshallah. All right. A question by Brother Mubashir Ali. He says over here, when is the next English version? Yeah, when will the CSA or CSE in English, the English version of such exams, come to existence?
Hopefully by next year. We have started the process of translation, but translation always takes too much time.
Okay.
We are not sure when we will be able to end it. Our plan is that it should end by December with all the reviews and the finalizations and everything. And then we will launch it in next year. So the first exam should be in April 2026. This is our plan.
April 2026, inshallah. Okay. I think one final question over here that I'd like to share is with regards to another same brother from Afghanistan. He says, is there any way for him to contribute to translating the standards into the Afghan languages, right? Pashto and Dari. Well, it's not a
Yeah, that's a good point. We had a meeting with Deputy Governor, Central Bank, the Afghanistan Bank, and we shared this idea with him as well. It was very positive that we should have, Pashto translation or Dari translation of AOFI Sharia standards, because that is going to help create awareness and understanding in the market where English and Arabic is not spoken that widely. So the process has started. The discussions are taking place. Obviously, if you are interested in contributing, please send me an email. I'll share it internally with relevant people and they'll take it forward with you, inshallah. My email address, let me share it with all of you, is fnoor, FNOOR @aofi.com.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. Right, so brother, if you would like to contribute to the translation in the translation process, then please reach out to brother Farhan, and we'll see where it goes from there, inshallah. Okay, I think those constitute all of the questions that we had in the chat. Brother Farhan, we really appreciate your time. Jazakallahu khairan. We have a special announcement, brothers and sisters. Stay tuned. Right, it's a course that is offered. My camera is not open. Okay, here I am. Yes, right. We have a special course offered by Adl Advisory in collaboration with Taif Digital Institute. Before that, I did want to say thank you very much, Brother Farhan Noor. If you would like to stick around, please do. But if you do have other matters to attend to, then we would like to say thank you so much for taking from your time to speak to interested participants, right, to the general public, and clarifying some of the doubts that they might have had previously, right? And yes, once again, Jazakallah khairan, inshallah. Until next time.
My pleasure. Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me and having me here. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you. Just one quick point before I go.
Yes.
I just want to mention that AOFI is a non-profit organization. So we are not here to make money, really. The fact is that the standards that we develop, the Sharia, accounting, auditing, governance, and ethics, it's available free of cost to all individuals and institutions from all parts of the world. And they can use these standards to make profits for themselves. And we don't get any share in it. Because again, like I mentioned, we are non-profit. We are not here to make money. So the reason why we charge for capacity building programs is, number one, financial sustainability. We have to charge something because you have to earn in some areas in order to get this process of standards development going, the main work that we do. And this is how the standards development is funded, one of the ways. This is point one. Point number two is, even then, our first priority is that a professional should be given the opportunity, irrespective of their financial means, to study IOFI standards. This is in our best interest, because if we develop standards and nobody reads it, nobody understands it, nobody implements it, then why do we exist? What's the point of our existence then? So it's in our best interest that you study and implement IOFI standards. So if financial, the fees and the pricing is a barrier or an obstacle in achieving this goal, then obviously we are going to break down this barrier. So now, obviously, like I mentioned, for sustainability reasons, we have to charge something. But if, Brother Mufti Abdullah Masoom requested some special pricing for imams and muftis based in Bangladesh, let us know what your the number is. Basically, if you have like 1,000 imams and muftis and they can register in our programs, then obviously our pricing will significantly reduce. Similarly, you have universities and there are thousands of students studying banking and finance and economics, and they should be studying Islamic finance as well. Again, if you have like a big number, 500, 600, 1,000 registrations, then obviously we will significantly reduce to the point of making it almost free of cost. So you need to understand, I just want to make a point here. You need to understand pricing is not there for us to make profit. It's for our financial sustainability. And at the end of the day, we want you to study. So if you have special situation and financial limitations of pursuing a program, please send an email to me. Let us know your personal condition and I'll try to do my best to reduce the amount as much as possible. Okay. Thank you so much once again for having me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Brother Farhan Noor. Jazakallahu khairan. You specifically and the institution of IOFI and all the other contributors. May Allah reward you for your efforts, your non-profit oriented efforts. And yes, with that, we say assalamu alaikum to you in particular. And we'd like to move on to the special announcement. Thank you so much, brother. Jazakallahu khairan. Okay, so with that, I am now going to share my screen over here. I hope I have permission. Yes, this is it. Okay, is my screen showing? Yes, okay. Yes, okay. So Brother Farhan Noor has very eloquently covered points, the previous points. Right, inshallah, I'll be running very quickly through a few other points, right? So firstly, right, Brother Farhan mentioned that IOFI has a number of workshops available, right? They do have mock exams for participants that have already registered, and these mock exams are completely free, right? They come with the package of registering for the exam, right? Now, in addition to that, Adl Advisory, right, for your information, is a registered IOFI exam registration center and a registered exam center. Now, it's important that I highlight the difference between these two, right? An exam registration center is simply an institution that has been given permission by IOFI to register students for the exams, right? Now, an exam center is, once again, an institution that has been given permission by IOFI to allow students to sit for the exam, right? So it could be the case that a student registers their intent to sit for the exam with one institution, whereas they sit for the exam, they actually sit for the actual exam with a different institution, right? So for example, you could register your intent to sit for the IOFI exam with Adl Advisory, but you could be in a different country in the world, say the Gambia, and we would offer you a center where you could sit for the exam, right? So that's an important distinction that needs to be made, right? So with that in mind, right, I would like to introduce a very special course that has been put together by Taif Digital Institute, which, as I mentioned to you, is an Islamic finance training provider, right? An e-platform that has provided numerous trainings in various topics relating to Islamic finance, right? And Adl Advisory, as you would know, is an Islamic finance and consultancy firm. We do offer training programs as well. So we've come together and collaborated to bring you this special course, right? Titled IOFI Sharia Certifications Preparatory Course 2.0, right? Right of the screen link over here. Okay. Am I audible at the moment? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, my apologies, brothers and sisters. My device has glitched, right? Nonetheless, let me share it on a different device, inshallah. Okay. Audible? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so as it says, as you can see on the screen as well, this is an AAOIFI Sharia certifications preparatory course 2.0. The reason why it's 2.0, I'll explain shortly, inshallah. All right, so just a brief overview about the course. All right, this is a course that covers, let me discuss the mode of coverage first, right? So this is a course that it's a self-study course, right? Meaning that the courses are not live, right? As a whole, right? Everything is recorded, right? And participants who register for this course are going to be given a 1-year access to the recordings on 5 Digital Institute's LMS platform. Yes. But in addition to the materials that are going to be provided in the form of video, as well as slides and Word documents and other PDF files, right? We do have a number of live Q&A sessions, right? That will be conducted by experts of the field, the likes of Mufti Yousuf Sultan, right? And Brother Mohamed Mishal, right? Both of whom are CSAA certified, of course, right? In addition to Mufti being a CIFE certified, right? Now, in addition to that as well, we will have quizzes and mock exams for the participants, right? That they could benefit from, inshallah. Okay. Now, what is covered in this course, right? With regards to the standards that are covered, right? We have all of the Sharia standards going to be covered, inshallah, all 61 of them, right? As Brother Farhan mentioned earlier, some of the standards have been repealed, meaning they're no longer active, but then there are others that are active. So inshallah, we'll be covering all the active ones, bi'idhnillah. Now, in addition to all the Sharia standards, we also will be covering the governance standards under SEPA's 4th module, known as Sharia and Governance Standards, right? The SS and SG. And of course, special discounts are available, right? For more details on the discounts, inshallah, you can reach out to our team, right? I'll be sharing the details shortly. All right, so here is a snippet of the course, right? Let's take a look.
This paper or this document or this receipt, whatever we call it, will also be considered as a type of possession, and we'll consider that as constructive possession. I'll observe.
So the Prophet ﷺ didn't invalidate the transaction, but he mentioned that those who paid in advance for fruits must do so for a specified measurement and weight and for a specified time.
Wonderful. Okay. So this is a sample of the course that we just saw, inshallah. These are the 2 speakers, the 2 trainers, inshallah, Brother Mishal and Dr. Mufti Yousuf Sultan, right?
This paper.
What it is. Okay. So that constitutes all the information on the course, right? Do follow Adl Advisory, right, on our various social media platforms, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, inshallah, right? For any details on the course, as I mentioned, please do reach out to us via email, if you would like, as it's written below, salam@adladvisory.co. Or you could reach out to us via LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other platform where Adl exists, inshallah. That constitutes, I believe, the end of the presentation, right? For any questions, I will be more than happy to answer, inshallah. Okay, and as I mentioned, this is a collaboration between Ta'if Digital Institute and Adl Advisory. Right now, I know I didn't do justice to the course in particular, but I should mention that 2 things. One is the fact that although this is a self-study course where participants will be given access to all the training materials, right? I did mention that the main value proposition of this course is that students would undergo, let me say, a series of classes, right? Some of them, let me say, most of them are recorded, but in between those recordings, you would have live Q&A sessions with the respected trainers, right? So this is a very unique course that is offered, and participants will be given a 1-year access to the platform, right? Now, I did mention that the reason why it is 2.0 as opposed to 1.0 is because this is an extension, right? Or let me say an upgraded version of the previous course that was available. And the updates or the upgrade includes the additional governance standards that were included by AAOIFI under the SSNSG SIPA module, right? So yes, this is a very important course for anyone who wants to pass or to develop a better understanding of AAOIFI's Sharia standards, its governance standards as well, inshallah. Okay, so that constitutes everything on my side. I will be more than happy to take questions before we end the session, inshallah. Okay, I'm going to look at the chat box. Okay, I see that there are no questions, hence I would assume that there are no questions, right? But as I mentioned, for those of you who want to reach out to Adl Advisory, please do so via email, salam@adladvisory.co, right? Salam spelled with 2 A's, right? SALAAM @adladvisory.co, or you could reach out to us via LinkedIn, our page on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and others, inshallah. All right, so as I see that there are no questions, I would take this moment to thank everyone, all the participants, for their wonderful participation, and asking questions and attending and taking from your time to be here. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to other discussions ahead of us, inshallah. Ramadan Mubarak ahead of time to everyone. Once again, we thank our distinguished speakers, Brother Farhan Noor, as well as Mufti Abdullah Masoom. May Allah bless you all. And until next time, we meet again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.